So this piece is the piece for the main staircase. Now I'm just folding down on all the score lines. For the score lines in the center of the piece, I want to fold them like an accordion fold. So when you want to start folding, so you have your little small tabs. The first score line is going to be a mountain fold, and then the next one is going to be a valley fold. And then you just, once you start that, you just want to continue in that order all the way along. So you have your mountain fold and your valley fold. As I mentioned in the first part of the video, I used my Cricut to draw the lines on the brick pattern, and I used a silver gel tip pen to create those lines. They didn't stand out enough to really look like bricks. I found a white pencil crayon, and I just used a ruler and darkened those lines. And then I just drew the vertical lines freehand. So I'm just gluing down my brick pieces. The first small rectangle is my first step, and then I have a brick piece, another step, brick piece, and so on and so forth. And so you just want to glue down those brick pieces. So next I'm going to glue my little staircase together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on both these small tabs. So the first tab's at the top. The score line for the tab is right up against that cut line for that first step. And from the underside, I'm going to go to the next two tabs. These tabs are larger in size. Cut edge has to be right against the score line for my step, right there. I'm going from the underside again, holding the next tabs downwards and putting glue on them. So these tabs are going to be glued on top of the tabs that you've just glued down. So all those red pieces are going to be the rise. So here's the other side with that small tab, and I'm gluing it over the tab that we've just glued together. I'm just going to pinch that in place. I feel that doing it on both sides simultaneously helps you keep lined up a little bit better. I'm gluing down the large tab first, and then the small tab next. And I'm just going to continue doing that all the way along. So now that all my steps are glued down, I'm going to put glue on both these tabs on either side. This is the back of my stairs. I want my cut edge right along the score line. I put glue on the tabs and I'm just tucking them under. I'm just going to put glue on both these sides, and I'm tucking those inside as well. And then I have my two decorative brick pieces that are going to go on the sides. Just putting glue on the underside of each panel and gluing it to the sides. Those are the stairs that are going to go to the front of your gazebo. These are the pieces for the bench. These rectangular pieces with all the score lines down it are for the legs for your bench. One end piece has little triangles cut out of it. You want to fold your piece down on the second score line. Put glue all over that tab, being careful not to get glue anywhere else. Fold the other end over like so, and then pop it up and it becomes your bench leg. You want to do that for all four pieces. Next I have the seat for my bench. I'm just going to fold down on all the score lines, including those little tiny tabs. If you're having difficulty folding down on those little tiny pieces, you can use your Cricut scraper tool to help you find those lines. I have 8 of these slats that are for the top and 8 of these slats for the bottom. I'm just layering them up 2 by 2, which will create 4 slats for the seat of my bench. So these pieces, I want to glue them down, but I'm looking at the bottom and there's going to be about 1/16 of an inch overlap on each side so that they go past the frame of the bench. I've tucked those sides underneath. I'm just going to put glue along my first slat. So I'm going to position it right on top of one of the slats that are on the black piece. I'm going to turn it around to make sure that there's an even overlap on both sides. Then I'm going to take my next piece, put glue on the back of it, and just position my next piece. And I'm going to continue like that with all 4 slats. So next I'm going to put a little bit of glue on those little tiny tabs on either end of the side of my bench. And I'm just going to tuck them under. I'm making sure that the cut edge is right against that score line for the tab. I'm going to do that on the other end as well. So So just putting glue in that corner. So next I'm going to take those little bench legs and just putting it in that corner and then just adhering it to the sides. And I'm going to do that with all 4 of them. So just for the seat of my bench, I'm doubling up the wooden slats for the back of my bench. And I'm going to adhere them to the back the same way. All right, so now that my back piece is finished, I'm just going to adhere it to the legs of my bench. I'm just putting glue along the bottom section, just gluing my legs right up against like so. And there's my little bench. For the railing, you want to fold down on all the score lines. Then I have this one piece that has an arch at the top and a cutout at the bottom. I'm going to fold down on its score lines too. This piece with the diagonal edges in this direction fits exactly in here on the lower part of my railing. I'll be putting glue on both sides and leaving this one. I'm just putting glue from the score line to the edge and just applying this right up against the score line at the end here. I want to make sure that it's right against the score line in the opening as well. Now I'm putting glue on the other side and I am folding down, making sure that it's right against those score lines on each end and right up against the opening. Okay, so now I'm going to fold down on that little tab that's at the top and I'm putting glue on it. And then I'm going to fold down on one of these sides and I'm keeping it flat on my mat while I do this. I'm going to put glue on the other side as well and then fold it over, and as I'm doing this I'm laying it flat on my mat just to make sure that my pieces don't get twisted. I'm going to do the same thing at the other end. I have my little tab. I'm going to put glue on it. I'm going to fold down the side, put glue all over it, and then fold down on the remaining side, closing it up and making sure that it's nice and straight. And this is the piece for the post. And then I'm just going to fold down on all the score lines for the post. Now I'm going to fold down on the second score line. I have my tab here. I'm putting glue all over the tab and making sure not to get glue anywhere else. And I'm folding down that end piece like so. And when it pops up, that's my post. For the bottom of my post, I'm just going to fold those pieces outwards. For the top, one of the tabs, so you know the tabs because they have little triangles cut out of them. I'll fold one of the tabs down and put glue on it, and then I'm folding the other tab that's across from it down. And I'm going to put glue on one of those squares and fold it down, glue on the last square and fold it down. And that's the post for my railing. So next I'm going to take my railing and put glue all along that long side. I've got my post on my mat. I want to make sure that my railing is nice and square. I'm gluing my railing to the post, using my mat as a guide to keep everything nice and square. That's the railing for my gazebo. I have to make 2 of these. So for my little purple flowers, so this is a special Cricut paper piercing pad that I got a long time ago. It's thick foam, much like a mouse pad. And I have a cake decorating tool, but if you don't have this type of tool, you can use a ballpoint pen that's run out of ink. I just make little circles in the center of my flower, like so. And then I use one of my Cricut mats. I apologize for the state of the mat. And I just put this product called Nouveau Drops. These are crystal drops. This will harden as it dries and just creates a little bit more dimension in my flowers. All right, next we're going to do the assembly of the potted plant. I'm going to start with the pot itself, and I'm just folding down on all the score lines. And then I'm going to take this little strip, I'm going to glue it down so that it just fits along the edge like so. Next I'm going to put glue all along that tab, and I want my cut line to be just along the score line. Then I have these brown pieces I'm just folding down on the score lines for it. Got a semicircle, a trapeze shape, and another semicircle. I'm just putting glue in that middle section, and then I'm gluing my 2 pieces together so that those trapeze sections match. Put a little bit of glue on the score line to the end of that little extension piece, and you just want to glue that, and you want as much as possible try to center it. I'm going to do that for both sides. Next I'm going to take my green circle, and I have my little yellow flowers. And I'm just going to glue my yellow flowers in several layers all over the green piece and cover it as much as possible. I'm putting glue on the back of my green circle and I'm applying it to the base that I just created. Then I'm going to put glue all along those little extensions on each side, and then glue on the bottom. Press down, waiting for my glue to take, and I'm going to put glue on the little purple circle, which is the bottom of my flower pot, and apply it to the base like so. So next I'm going to put together the sign for the town, and I'm just going to glue these pieces together. I'm going to stack them as follows. I've got my little sign that goes on a white background. It gets adhered to my decorative piece. Then I have a piece of craft board, another piece of craft board, my piece that has a little lattice work in it, piece of craft board, and a decorative piece with the nice side facing outwards, and then the sign again on the back like so. So I'm just going to glue all of those together. I've glued my sign together. I have these two tabs on my craft board that extend past the rest of the layers like so. And those are going to be the little feet to hold up my sign. It's still going to be able to flap back and forth. So I have these other little pieces. I'm folding on the score lines and I want them to look like this. So these pieces go under and then out. And I'm going to thread them through and they will help me keep my little sign in place. So I'm just going to put glue on all those flat surfaces, and that's how I'm going to glue it down to the platform for my gazebo. I have my board and I've taken the roof off my gazebo, and I want to, as much as possible, center my gazebo within this hexagon that's already glued down. I'm putting glue on the underside of my gazebo, so I'm making sure that this open panel is facing towards the corner where I have score lines for this piece. Best I can, I'm trying to center this on the hexagon that's on the base. Then I'm going in with my bone folder and I'm making sure to spread all that glue. Now I know that my stairs are going to go here, so now I'm going to glue down my railing. I'll dry fit my stairs and that little gray piece in the corner. I just want to see approximately where I want to put my railing. I want to put it up against here. I don't want to put it too close to the edge because it'll interfere with the edge of the stairs. I can take those pieces away for now. I'm putting glue all along the upper part of that railing. My post is resting on the base, and I've got my railing up against and as straight as I can get it along the window. And I'm going to do that with the other side as well. I'm just putting glue underneath all these little tabs, and I'm going to glue them to the base. So now I'm going to finally put in this one piece that we've had since the very beginning, using my score lines as my guide. So this on my staircase, I'm going to put glue on the back and on the bottom, and I'm going to insert it where it belongs. I'm trying to center it as much as I can so that the steps are right at the opening. I've got my hand inside the gazebo and I'm pushing the wall right up to the edge of the stairs. I'm pushing down so that it's gluing to the base as well. So for my sign, I'm just going to put glue on all those flat pieces. So I've got the two pieces on the anchors on each side and the two middle pieces. And then I'm going to put my sign on the base where I'd like to see it. I'm going to glue my plants down, or maybe not. I don't know if I'm going to glue them down yet. I'm not gluing down my bench. I'm leaving it free. And I'm just going to add a few flowers for decoration. And I have these little pieces of greenery I can use to disguise the posts. And there you have it, my Stars Hollow gazebo.